Okay, we're still on the 2.6 to 2.9 review. Calculators are allowed, and this is number 7. The goal for all three is to find the average rate of change. So if you recall, that average rate of change is the same as a secant slope. So that requires that we know 2 points. Now if I look at this, all of these kind of look like complicated functions, so I'll probably have an easier time generating those points if I put the functions into the Y editor. So I'm going to get my calculator out, I'm going to clear out what's on it, I'm going to go to my Y equals, and let's do part A. On part A, I'm going to let that function equal 2x cubed plus 3x minus 6. So now I've got my function in there. Now I'm set up to figure out what the y coordinates are really easily. So I know my first point's -3 as the x coordinate. My second point is 4 as the x coordinate. So I can go to my home screen and plug -3 in simply by doing y1 of -3. That will give me the y coordinate of -69. I can do the same thing with 4, y1 of 4, and see that the y coordinate is 134. Now that I have the 2 points, I can compute the slope. 134 minus a -69 over a 4 minus a -3. If I do that on my calculator, remember to open the top, close the top, divide, and then open the bottom. Hit enter, and you get -29 is your average rate of change. Now I'm going to show you another way to do it all in one fell swoop without actually having to compute the y coordinates individually. What you could have done instead, I'll scoot this over so that you can see, is we know our x coordinates are -3 and 4, and all I'm interested in is that secant slope. I don't really care what the y coordinates are, I just want to use them. So on my calculator I could have opened the top and done y1 of 3 minus, excuse me, that's a -3, y1 of a -3 minus y1 of a 4, close the top, and divide by a 3 minus a -4. Notice that I get the exact same answer, and we can see here that we have the y coordinate minus the y coordinate over the x coordinate minus the x coordinate. So that's how I'm going to do the other ones, B and C. I'm not going to worry about finding out what those y values are. I'm just going to plug them in. So for part B, I go back to my Y editor, I clear out that function, and I rewrite the 4 minus cosine of 2x. Now I'm going to be careful with this because I want to make sure that I'm in radian mode. So double check that you're in radian mode. If you aren't, you're going to get the wrong answer here. So once I've got my Y editor set the way I want it, I'm going to go home, clear out what's in there, and I'm going to look to see what my x coordinates are. I've got one point that has an x coordinate of -pi. I got another one that has an x coordinate of 2 pi. So if I go to my screen, my home screen, I'm going to set up a slope, y1 of -pi minus y1 of 2 pi. There's the top. I've got to close it. Then I divide by the bottom. -pi minus 2 pi. Hit enter, and we see that our secant slope is 0. We could just plug this in real fast. Plugging in pi, well, never mind. I won't waste the time. Let's go to C. If I go to C, I again have this function that I can put in my Y editor, clear out what's in there, type in the sine of pi x divided by 4, close the parenthesis, hit enter. Now I go home. My 2 x coordinates are -5 and +4. So I'm going to plug those in to get the y coordinates and then create a slope. So I will have, opening the top, y1 of a -5 minus y1 of a 4, close the top, divide by, open your bottom, -5 minus 4, close the bottom and hit enter, we can see that we get a secant slope of -2 in a root over 18. And that's all there is to it, and those are the answers on your key, so we don't even have to simplify them or rationalize. And we're done.